find your niche, you stay there, stay cool, and you be the man into your 50s and 60s.
That's young Sean Nelson there as Fresh, a 12-year-old school kid who was also a part-time drug dealer. And his employer, played by Giancarlo Esposito, knows how smart Fresh is. In fact, everybody respects this solemn kid who is wise beyond his years, but even so, they have no idea who they're really up against. One day, a neighborhood hothead and drug dealer pulls out his gun on a playground and starts shooting.
That's right. Go tell somebody you saw something. I'll come back for all you punks.
After the shooting, Fresh is brokenhearted and very angry. He meets his father, Samuel L. Jackson, for a game of chess and gets some hard advice.
I play my opponent. If he likes to attack, I force him to defend himself. If he's a cautious man, I draw him into dangerous water. See, you get so frustrated playing defensive positions, you make stupid moves you'd never make if you were thinking.
The first two-thirds of the movie are set up. The last third is an amazingly clever and surprisingly plausible payoff as Fresh uses his chess skills to keep track of the playground killer and the other evil guys in the neighborhood.
All right. Maybe it ain't Esteban. He did it himself, man.
Where I'm gonna get $5,000, man? Where I'm gonna get it? You always trying to scare me, but I ain't scared of you no more. You can kill me all you want, but I lie for you no more.
The first thing I want to say about Fresh is that young Sean Nelson's performance is amazing in this movie. He has to carry the film, and he does, with a solemn determination. He's surrounded by other good performances, too. I like the portrait Samuel L. Jackson painted of a brilliant man who has been marginalized by alcoholism. And then there's the plotting of this movie, which was written and directed by Boaz Yakin, who had worked earlier on some Eastwood thrillers. He literally crosses the complexity of a chess game with the reality of the streets, and it works. This is the kind of movie that's a fascinating challenge to watch because it's always a few steps ahead of you.
Well, I think the first comment that you made is the right one to make. This young actor is really special. The movie, you can talk about the combination of chess and the streets and the game he's going to try and play on these people, and we can argue about how well that works or not. This young man makes this story, if he were alone, walking through the streets, there's something inside this kid, and the camera catches it, where you instantly care about what he's caring about. You feel the sadness in the examples that you're using, and you want him to survive, whether he wins an ultimate victory or not.
His survival, not just Sean Nelson, though, but as I think back over the movie, because the soundtrack is not filled with a lot of real loud rap music that makes you feel like something has to be happening every second. It's a quiet soundtrack. And think of some of the other people. Think of his aunt, who's raising those 11 kids.
That's a good performance.
Think of his little playmate. Think of his sister, how tragic she is. Think of some of the other dealers. Think of that teacher who's so strict with him when he comes late. There are really good, sharply drawn portraits of every person.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that what you're going to see when you see this picture is you're going to see somebody walk through silently through a whole world.
Yes.
And you're going to follow him. You know what this reminds me in a strange way? Remember in Schindler's List, the little girl with the red coat? In a strange way, this kid is another kind of red coat going through another tragic era, a present era.